You're watching the Cam Rogers Show here on Chat Sports Facebook Live. Check me out on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99. It's time for the Rogers Rumors Roundup. I'm getting you set with all of the latest NFL news and rumors here. So let's get into nugget of information number one. Case Keenum. Is the franchise tag coming for him? Looks like no. So Ian Rappaport reported that the Vikings aren't expected to tag Case Keenum. That according to sources close to the team's thinking. This is hardly surprising considering Case Keenum had an out-of-nowhere season in 2017. And look, guys, the tag would cost $23 million approximately. Do you really want to pay a flash-in-the-pan $23 million? I don't think so. And if you're the Minnesota Vikings, you can probably get into the Kirk Cousins sweepstakes. You have the money to do it. The Vikings have $49 million in projected cap space, which is more than enough to make a run at free agency, and more specifically Kirk Cousins. And, you know, Keenum is expected to have a market, including the Buffalo Bills, the Jets, the Broncos. I'll talk about the top 5 teams for him later in the show. But I really don't know what the market will be exactly. Like, in terms of monetary amounts here, I really don't know how much he's going to get in comparison to, say, a Teddy Bridgewater or a Kirk Cousins or a Sam Bradford. In fact, there's a bit of uncertainty in terms of all 3 of these free agent quarterbacks coming out of Minnesota in terms of how much money they will actually get. Now, Case Keenum. What team will sign him this offseason? Let me know in the comments section. I see Rio is commenting, Chris is commenting, Cliff as well, Melvin joining the show. Let me know. I would really be interested to hear what you guys think. Here's the deal with Case. I don't think he is a long-term answer anywhere, but he is a player that is coming off a solid 2017 campaign. And my question is it more to do with the system in Minnesota with Pat Shurmur as the offensive coordinator, or was it more to do with Case Keenum absolutely like figuring it out? I'm leaning towards the former rather than the latter. But surely let me know who you think Case Keenum will sign with this offseason. He'll find a starting opportunity, I think, but will he be a good quarterback in 2018? That is my big-time question mark for him. So from one Viking free agent to another, rumor number 2, is there a tag coming for Teddy Bridgewater? Well, it looks like there isn't. Ian Rappaport also saying that the Vikings are expected to let Teddy walk into free agency and test the open waters, and with Sam Bradford likely not coming back, the Vikings are without a quarterback. So they're very much in the, hey, let's go out and try to find a guy sweepstakes kind of thing. Like, it's Kirk Cousins. It could be the draft. It could be all these potentiality here. So Bridgewater, of course, was their 2014 first-round pick, led the Vikings to a division title in 2015. This is more surprising to me than the Case Keenum situation. Now, I didn't think the franchise tag was going to happen for Teddy Bridgewater. That wouldn't make much sense. Why would you pay the guy $16 million or $23 million if, you know, he barely played in 2017? But I thought maybe he would get a 1-year, 2-year, prove-it kind of deal where the Vikings can finally get their answer. Is Teddy Bridgewater our franchise quarterback? It seems as though they don't want to find out. And I think that is a poor decision on their part. So I guess the Vikings leadership finds Teddy expendable. The rumors suggest the Vikings have the funds and the interest to make a run at one Kirk Cousins. And speaking of which, let's get to him because I'm hearing that Denver could be ready to shell out some big-time money for this guy. So Yahoo Sports recently put out a thought on this. Charles Robinson proposed that the Broncos will likely have to offer Cousins $25 million per year with $80 million guaranteed. So people may point to Garoppolo's contract as somewhat market setting, but he's not getting the type of guaranteed money that Cousins is going to get, guys. Stafford actually leads the NFL in terms of total guaranteed dollars at $60 million. Kirk Cousins could blow that out of the water. And you see that $80 million mark, I think that's where it's going to be. Wherever he signs, a Cleveland, Buffalo, heck, Minnesota, Denver, New York, etc. I think it's going to be around that amount. Now, Denver's going to have to free up some salary cap space here. They're going to have to cut Aqib Talib or Chris Harris. or maybe Bradley Roby. I don't know. But they're going to have to cut one of those corners to give them some salary cap relief. I do want you to predict the team that will sign Kirk Cousins. Let me know in the comments section. Cousins could far and away be the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League after free agency is all said and done. My understanding is the Vikings and Broncos are going to make the hardest pushes for Kirk Cousins, with the Jets very, very close behind them. Cleveland Browns also in the running as well. I think this is going to be really fun to watch. Like, just hearing about all the rumors right now is fun, and reporting on it is fun. But once we actually get to the new league year, that's when things are going to pick up like crazy. And I look forward to talking about who Kirk Cousins actually signs with. But Denver, I think that is the most likely scenario in my eyes there. So we'll keep an eye on Kirk Cousins perhaps going to the Denver Broncos. All right. Chris Ivory was recently cut by the Jacksonville Jaguars. So is he headed to the Buffalo Bills or Cleveland Browns? He visited with the Bills on Monday, the Browns yesterday. And Chris Ivory's release was kind of part of this Jacksonville Jaguars attempt to free up salary cap space to re-sign one of their premier players. I'll get to that in a matter of moments. But for Chris Ivory, well, he's a solid backup running back, and, you know, he can show some flashes as a number one RB as well. Buffalo has 3 running backs set to be free agents, Tolbert, Tawan Jones, and Cadet as well. So if Buffalo wants to let all those guys walk and then bring in a Chris Ivory to back up LaShawn McCoy, who, by the way, has a tendency to show up on the injury report with hamstring injuries and all this stuff. So would be a nice signing for Buffalo. Meanwhile, for Cleveland, it could happen where Isaiah Crowell walks into free agency and doesn't come back. So maybe Chris Ivory comes into Cleveland, be's that early down running back, and you got Duke Johnson, and heck, bring in a Saquon Barkley at number 4 overall thanks to the Houston Texans, and you have a pretty solid running back core there, along with Sam Darnold at the quarterback position or Kirk Cousins. I'm thinking all hypotheticals right now. But Chris Ivory, he's doing his tour, if you will, visiting with teams, and I'm sure he'll have a decision pretty darn soon. So that's the latest with Chris. Speaking of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they have a decision to make with one Allen Robinson. He is the priority at this juncture. Why is that? 1, they have extended Blake Bortles. That is all set, done. Chris Ivory released. That freed up $12.6 million in the salary cap region, and the franchise tag would cost $16 million if the Jaguars go that route with Allen Robinson. Robinson has been a part of several free agency rumors, it seems, for the past few weeks, and I think it would be a very smart decision by the Jaguars to re-sign Allen Robinson, because are you really going to rely on D.D. Westbrook and Marquise Lee and Allen Hurns to kind of, or at least one of them, emerge as that number 1 wide receiver? I don't think they can. And so I think you have to bring back Allen Robinson, because you got to give Blake Bortles the most help you possibly can. And I'm not putting anything against Blake Bortles, but he wasn't all that great during the regular season in 2017. He had pretty good postseason, which is very promising for me, and I'm sure for Jaguars fans. But bringing back Allen Robinson should and is the priority for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but $16 million is a really, really tough price tag, especially for a guy coming off an ACL injury. He barely played in 2017, so Allen Robinson staying put in Jacksonville, something to monitor there. And then finally, we have Michael Crabtree. Will he stay with the Oakland Raiders? Yes, he will. So reports suggest that the Raiders are expected to not release Crabtree, and trust me, it's very tempting. $7.7 million saved if they do cut Crabtree. No dead money there. As you see his stats from 2017, 58 receptions, 618 yards, and 8 touchdowns. This according to The Athletic, by the way. Not the season you really wanted from Crabtree last year, but the Oakland Raiders as a team struggled. So you can't put it all on Crabtree, but he did have his fair share of drops. Also got into a rift with Aqib Talib, and with John Gruden, now the head coach, you had to wonder, well, is he going to make some changes, cut Michael Crabtree, perhaps Sean Smith, Marshawn Lynch? A lot of opportunity there for some turnover with the Oakland Raiders because they're not in the best salary cap position. If you look at the rankings, not the best for the Oakland Raiders. They're towards the bottom of the list. So maybe they cut Marshawn Lynch or Sean Smith instead of Michael Crabtree because the report suggests that Crabtree is remaining with the Oakland Raiders there.